What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Today, I want to react to a video of Joe Budden and the crew talking about the ESTG walking out of Bootleg Kev's interview, and actually seen the video where he walks out of the interview. But I want to hear what the Buddens and the crew has to say. And I'm going to give my opinion as well. Before we do that, though, I want to give you a word from Dizzle brand premium luxury liqueur.
That Dizzle ain't no joke, got me addicted, ain't no coke. Let's just have a toast. Anybody want some smoke? Cause it's up, I be Dizzled up. Catch me sipping with my double cup. Can't just have one, you gotta double up. You pour it, gotta watch it bubble up. I ain't gon' lie, I cannot get enough. When Callie said I need another one, gon' have you coming back for more. But go get it while it's hot, before it be sold out in your stores. That Dizzle.
I really mean it. Just push your Dizzle on ice, and it's nice. If you want to order your very own bottle or bottles of Dizzle Premium Luxury Liqueur, which is mixed with agave tequila, cognac, and orange liquor mango mix, just go to dizzlebrand.com. As you see, do you Dizzle? Order at dizzlebrand.com. Click on our locations. Click on one of the top 3 website links. I recommend Emilio's Beverage. Below that's locations in California, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas. Don't forget, you must be 21 and over. Shipping and handling is included as well. Also, if you just go to dizzlebrand.com, click on the homepage and order online, that'll take you straight to Emilio's Beverage. Also, you got the Dizzle brand merch. I got one of the t-shirts on right now. This is the black and gold, one of the very first versions of it. And you can get this on dizzlebrand.com as well. Got the black and we got the white and red, the white and blue, got the black and gold, you got the hoodies, sweatshirts, hats, and more. Also, it's available on Etsy.com, ETSY.com. Search for Dizzle Brand. And the Dizzle Brand gummies as well are available at DizzleNova.com. Link will be in the description. I repeat, Dizzle Brand gummies at DizzleNova.com. All right, let's get into it.
Podcast.
True.
Mm-hmm. Fucking stupid Bootleg Kev start asking him questions.
That's crazy.
Yeah, during an interview, man. That was wild.
Who does that?
ESTG had heard enough, got up and walked out. I love that move in podcasts, getting up and walking out.
Yes, you did it a couple of times.
And I love if somebody do it to me. It's a move. I'm getting my content.
It does seem to always work.
It never fails if somebody walks out of an interview.
Got it.
When Ross walked out of 85 South, and that was even the most polite walkout I ever saw.
That was the funniest shit ever.
No, he's right. Let me stop it right there. He's right. It does never fail when somebody walks out the interview. And sometimes the interviewer is being disrespectful, and I can see that. But sometimes walking out the interview was disrespectful.
So, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm going to the bathroom.
And it was like, yo, I think he's gone.
Yeah, he left. I left mad sensitive. I'll never do your platform again.
Been back.
Sensitive as hell. No, I never went back. That was Hot 97. I said that. I ain't been back since.
Oh, you never went back?
Never went back since. Not to say I wouldn't. I would.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I would, because it's under different pretenses now.
Got it.
I'm not going to promote an album. I'm not going to promote a project. Yeah. I don't need to rely on y'all to steer the conversation correctly. Now we can really talk about anything.
I see what you're saying. And you got a relationship.
Up there, I was trying to sell a record.
So yeah, let's talk about this record.
Let's talk about the album. And ESTG, bringing it back to him, said, yo, what does any of this have to do with selling my album? I got a project dropping on Friday. You asked me about aliens. You asked me about football. You asked me about the last gay actor or whatever the fuck he was asking him. So where do y'all fall? Which side do y'all fall on? Whose side do you fall on this?
Bootleg Kev responded to that. And he said, yo, his peoples reached out to me and said he does not want to do your typical interview asking me about the music. So they told him some things that he's into, like quantum physics, and he looks into that type of shit. So he was trying to have
I'm trying to be Narwhal.
And not to mention, let me chime in again. The typical ask the same questions. You know, why did you first get into music? You know, what's the inspiration behind this album? It's boring. It's lame after a while. It's just the same old stuff. That's why I like to always start with, when I interview musicians, I like to start with, what was your name before the name you have now? So people, the fans, can understand who you were before this. You know, and that's the thing. Having these interviews where you ask non-music related questions, I think is really good for the fans to really understand you as a person and try to relate to you, because, you know, fans can think they can relate to you, but unless they're making as much money as you, they really can't relate to you totally. And I think when you just talk about normal everyday things and everyday questions, just kind of make it a sit down, you know, and not necessarily an interview. We could talk about anything, and even to the sense where the person being interviewed can ask questions to the interviewer as well. You know,
he was just trying to have a non-traditional interview where we just sit here and kick it and talk shit.
So where'd the miscommunication?
Because traditional interviews they're boring. It's just the same. We done heard these questions a trillion times. Let's get some new ones.
Communication happened.
Well, let me say what ESTG said. Let me read it. You trying to play it like I walked out because of football, like Aim did plenty of interviews talking about playing football and talking about it in my music. You asking me if I remembered an old man porn star, if I believe in aliens and the NFL Combine. What the fuck does that have to do with my album dropping Friday? I literally just walked out that interview 2 hours ago. You already got a clip up. You trying to go viral, LOL. 100. I got real life shit going on. Ask.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Some of us care more about hearing those questions being answered than the ESTG album.
Around.
I personally would rather hear conversations about aliens and quantum physics. But I understand when you release an album, that's not what you want to talk about. But it's weird if the PR people are telling you one thing and he wants to do something different.
I read Bootleg.
Yeah, but how much can you talk about one album? How many questions, if you're doing an hour-long interview, I mean, how many questions can you really answer about one album? Really? You know, it should be more like you come here and let fans see who you are as a person. And at the same time, let's plug in the album, plug in the single, plug in these things. You know, I really feel like rappers nowadays, they remind me of these modern day NBA players. It's just a real sense of entitlement going on here, in my opinion.
Kev's response about the ESTG thing. I'm a fan of his music and was genuinely excited to talk to him. I was told by his team that he wanted to not have an interview not filled with typical stuff where we talk about music, this, music, that, etc. Apparently, he has a wide range of interests that includes the universe and quantum physics, etc. That's what I was told. So I approached our interview as I do every single one. Let's have fun, shoot the shit, and get to know who you are outside of the music plus persona. Then he continued on. He was like he was looking forward to talking about just outside of music topics, and it clearly irritated.
I'll push back on what you said, Paul. It's not uncommon for the artist and the publicist to be on two totally different pages.
True.
It's not.
Absolutely true.
And these artists are moody. So, yeah, that might have been normally my thing, but.
Yeah, especially when people freely throw out that PR in the music industry, in the music business world. I never really called Promo Palace LLC a PR company because, you know, I know the difference between a online advertising and an internet marketing company and a PR company. And people throw this PR behind their names a little too much for me anyways. You know, like I think a lot of these people that call themselves publicists and PRs nowadays don't even know the actual job requirements of being a PR. They do things, they do just internet marketing things and call it PR. You know, they don't get you no actual real press.
I'm not in the mood.
Actually, that's one of my biggest beefs in the music business. Well, not in the music business, but yeah, is that the publicists in trying to do their job is gonna tell the platforms whatever they need to tell them to get the shit booked.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when they bring it to you, they're gonna tell you whatever they need to tell you to get you there. Mm-hmm. It's not until the artists get there and find out for himself that you really know what's going on.
Yeah. Like we've had artists that came in here that clearly did not want to be here. On the walk-in, didn't want to be here, but then you loosen up because you, from whatever they might have heard about you, or they just
tense.
Yeah. Exactly, tense.
A lot of people have that about me.
And then they walk in and like, oh shit, this shit is chill, it's cool here. All right, bet. And now they're the usual, yo, we got to hard out because we got a flight to catch, which we know what that means. If we'll give you this amount of time, if we ready to leave, we leaving for this reason. Half the time, artists will sit here and be like, yo, nah, we good. We pushed it back. We can rock out a little longer. Because they loosen up and they realize it's
it's a gift.
Comfortable environment.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is? And as a artist myself, I can speak on this. And just dealing with so many old school artists and just, I've interviewed so many artists through the years, doing unsigned radio with Indie Castle, dealing with, tens of thousands and thousands of artists. Most musicians think that their job is to just make music. They think that's all they should have to do, is just make music, perform on stage, and get paid for it. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. And it's never really worked that way. It's never worked that way. The musicians that are the people persons, they're the cats that are winning. The J. Coles, the Drakes, the Kendricks, the Joyner Lucases. A lot of these rappers think they should be entitled to fan base, entitled to sell this many tickets. They think people should just, as soon as they drop, they should be entitled to get plays and views just because. They shouldn't have to do all this extra. Most of them, they don't want to do interviews. They think it's beneath them. They treat it like NBA players treat media. That's how they treat it. They treat it like NBA players treat media. Back in the days, we wanted to get every interview we could. Every single interview we could. And I understand you get to a certain stature, time is money. You can't do every single interview. You want to just do the ones that are the most significant, But yeah, these artists, it's just a sense of entitlement. They think it's beneath them. They treat it like it's the media, like NBA players treat media.
But if you hear and you just don't want to be there, you dealing with whatever, it's easy for you to, man, I don't even want to talk about this shit anyway. Like, leave me alone.
But that's the other thing. A lot of these new acts and new artists ain't really trying to do interviews, really. So it takes some coaxing from the publicist or the label or the A&R. Somebody got to talk you into it, or you got to have a relationship with the person that's doing the interview.
Right.
What I just say? These motherfuckers don't even want to do interviews. They think it's beneath them. They think, it's like it's like they only want to do things that they think's cool, but the shit that they think's cool ain't really fucking cool. It's lame.
They just don't want to do interviews.
But if somebody's trying to sell you a record and you're saying to them, I don't want to do no interviews, then your team is going to get into trick you mode.
True.
And what happens?
That's what this seems like.
And you're paying somebody for nothing because they can't do their job. You know what this is? Oh, I know what this is. This is what, shouts out to Chris Roker. This is what me and Chris Roker always talk about. Don't watch us work. That's our motto for musicians. Don't watch us work. Shouts out to Chris Roker, School Tour, Dizzle, all that good stuff. Don't watch us work. That's what this is. This is the publicist trying to do their job, but you're just watching them work because you don't want to do the interview. This is don't watch us work. It's like if I'm working you a song for radio and you stay in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is my city where I'm at, and I'm getting your radio play on the FM radio station in Raleigh. What are you still doing in Fayetteville? Why are you not in Raleigh while your song is playing in Raleigh? Why are you still in Fayetteville? Why are you not up there like, y'all playing my song on FM radio here? What's good with the interview? And then after you do the interview, why are you then you should be, chopping it up with the program director, like, well, who's the big show promoter here in Raleigh? The local show promoter. Okay, thanks. You got a way I could get in contact with him? Okay, contact him. We getting a lot of radio play here in Raleigh. We just did an interview. What's good with like an opener for a show or a show? You know what I'm saying? Damn. Yeah, this is the don't watch us work. ESTG.
And they want to do interviews with who they want to do them with.
Who they're comfortable with.
I mean, that probably is the underlying factor in this. Maybe he's not familiar with Bootleg Kev, didn't want to do Bootleg Kev for whatever reason. He would have rather went somewhere else.
Like a lot of the, more street artists prefer to sit with certain people.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even want to be here.
Right.
Book me over there with them.
And that's why their ticket sales are dropping. That's why their fan base is going to be limited, because they're just putting everything in a box. They're putting everything in a box. They don't understand how marketing and advertising goes. Big fan base tapping into other markets, other demographics, other races.
Sit there and we can do something.
I think that I won't harp on this too long. Damn, I'm kind of conflicted as a rapper and a podcaster.
I feel like most of the times when we have artists up here,
I'm a rapper and a podcaster too, but I'm not conflicted on this. I'm not conflicted on this one bit. Yeah, I get what Joe said early. They walk out. It's good for clickbait. But first of all, this is the thing though. Like, when I'm interviewing unsigned artists, I don't really judge them based off do I like their music or not. I just try to give them a platform, And when I ask questions, I'm going to ask questions that are non-music related. And I let them know that beforehand. If you're not willing to answer sports-related topics or even topics that might relate to your city or state that might be political, my podcast ain't for you. We'll talk about, we'll plug in your single, we'll plug in your album, we'll plug in your social medias, all that. But I'm not going to just sit on my podcast and just talk about one album the whole time. I'm not doing it. So I'm not really conflicted because these artists need these podcasts to push this album, and nowadays the way the landscape is of you do interviews with people and they want to attack you already, especially if you take some kind of social issue stance or some political stance, you're more likely going to do interviews with some people you might feel uncomfortable doing an interview with. Everybody's not going to always just be like, asking all the positive questions and whatnot, so yeah, man.
we don't really just sit down and dissect their.
I'm never going to talk. Yeah, but we also don't have
in-cycle interviews very often. You're right.
Yeah, because in-cycle means.
And you know what? Also, before I hate to cut them off again, if I'm doing mainstream artist interviews or celebrity interviews, like if I'm doing mainstream, like TG, I don't even like his music. I wouldn't even be interested in interviewing him. Even if I had the biggest platform on the planet and they were trying to pay me to come on here for an interview, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't even want nothing to do with it. If I'm going to interview somebody in the mainstream world, I got to like their music too. If I don't like their music, I don't want to interview you. I don't care. I'm not interested. Screw your album. I'm not paying it no mind.
To me anyway, yo, I'm coming to talk about this, dog.
Yeah.
Right.
And I got 9 more of these lined up directly after you.
Right.
I ain't with none of that shit. And I want to learn about the artist. I'm sick of enough music. I have your music.
Right.
I got that.
Thank you. Joe Budden is like, yeah, like what? How long can you talk about one fucking album in an interview? How many questions can you ask for a fucking hour? Well, let's start with your first song. What was the inspiration of that song? Okay, let's get to your second one. What's the inspiration of that song? Third one. What was the inspiration of that cover? What was the inspiration of the title? Who you got making the beats? Get the fuck out of here, man. You got to be a reality TV show nowadays anyways to make it in this business. So you got to put yourself out there, man. Yeah, man. Entitlement.
Yeah.
What do you do when you wake up in the morning? Mm-hmm. When's the last time you cried? What are you into outside of music?
Do you remember this porn star?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Shit, I ran into a porn star in Las Vegas.
feel Bootleg Kev on that side.
I'm on his side.
Does
Mainly-
anybody agree with ESTG? Does anybody agree with him?
I don't. Okay.
I don't.
I'm on Bootleg Kev's side mainly because it was your, and I get it, there can be a disconnect between publicists and artists, but it was your people who even put that bug in his ear.
Like
to
you
have
said, he
him
probably
doing
wasn't aware. And
I agree.
I'm blaming the publicist too.
Yeah, for sure.
I've had publicists come up to me and blow up a platform. Yo, this platform gets 900 million impressions with this much traffic and this much audience. And you walk in and there's some crackhead loser with a fucking Sony handheld bullshit mic just asking you weird shit. Hey, dog, I don't give a fuck how many impressions you get. I'm getting out of here.
I'm not doing this.
Neutral button.
Yeah, I'm with the guys on this. Even like Birdman, like walks up in there just to walk out. I put some respect on my name. How about make some great music yourself without needing Manny Fresh to pretty much carry the water for you? Because now that Lil Wayne is left, what the fuck is Birdman put out over there? That's been great. I don't even know if he's probably still getting paid off of Drake, but Drake's pretty much, it ain't because of Birdman that Drake's putting out any good music. And yeah, to me, it's just like a sense of entitlement and thinking it's beneath him. And I don't know if Bootleg Kev was a good fit for that kind of artist anyways. To me, I think Bootleg Kev would be more lyrical artist. I know he interviewed YG, but artists like that, I wouldn't even want to interview. I really wouldn't. If I don't like your music, if you don't even got a single song that I want to put on repeat, I don't want to interview you. I could care less about is it gonna propel my podcast to interview ESTG because he's got an album dropping. I'm not even gonna listen to the album. Fuck would I want him on my podcast for? You know what I'm saying? But if he wanted to come on and just do an interview that we just talk about any and everything, that could be a different story. But you just want to come on just to talk about your music. Nah, that's not even happening on my podcast with anybody. We're not just talking about your music. I'm going to ask you non-music related things too, or no, man, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Paul Pickett podcast. And I'm out.